ground heroes, and join me for our final look into the secrets of Battlemarked, at least for a while. In this episode, we'll be focusing basically on what her secondary ability is going to be, and then making some fun builds out of each of them.
No doubt you're here about the druid boy.
How did you know?
Her secondary ability can give her some interesting flavor. Let's start with a quick look through the primary ability traits. Which ones are going to benefit a druid character? At Tier 1, Eagle-Eyed can help with some spell casting, but not much else for a druid who prefers Wild Shape. I find Fortified Action compelling, and that's the first time I've said that. Using a one more thing before transforming gives her bear form 2 hits from the extra 1 action point, of course, and the magic armor is a nice, albeit small, buffer for her orc form when she reverts. What I actually find good about this is it's reminding you, hey, go out and get those one more things, because if you see them, unlike every other class, an extra action point is giving you 2 hits for the price of 1. Unflinching Focus would have been dynamite with Furry Fury before they changed it in version 6. Now you might not see any benefit from it at all. Take this trait only if you keep yourself near full hit points at all times. At Tier 2, I'm not going to go over the Combat Medic and Combat Magic traits. You already know if you enjoy these.
This is my jam.
This is also my jam.
If you like being a bear, stopping to assist an ally costs you a lot of potential damage. So, I'm all about Prepared Spirit for 1 extra card slot. And then at Tier 3, I have to recommend Honed Instinct, simply because its 10% chance to activate turns into 20% with the bear form's multi-attack. I'm not writing off Insightful Timing. I do use this for Furry Fury build, or for a Spellcaster build, but otherwise, don't be overprotective of a body that's going to disappear within 5 turns. The Druid's default secondary ability is Ho-Hum Constitution. I'm not suggesting that it's bad for a Druid. She's one of the characters that needs to be able to take a beating. I just find it dull. At Tier 1, Healthy is another trait that doubles its effectiveness. It's applied once on the orc form and once on the bear form, so I like this one the best. I prefer Resilient with a Furry Fury build, as it's the one trait that's going to help you stay in the sweet spot to stay enraged.
He's got my nose.
Iron Gut still hasn't won me over. Poison damage is just too uncommon. At Tier 2, Healthy again? Sure, why not? She has plenty of healing options to keep her hit points topped up. Thick-Skinned is good too, and it stacks with Bark Skin on melee attacks. Which one's best depends on your playstyle. Don't take Thick-Skinned if you don't plan on jumping into the fray very often. Fast Healer is wasted on the Druid, possibly the one class I don't even feel the need to carry an emergency healing potion. And then for Tier 3, I've been taking Battle Hardened so that I can target bugbears. Gruda is a great bugbear exterminator.
Call the damn exterminator!
The other traits are for healing. The Juggernaut might be your only way to heal in bear form, and you can double its effectiveness with Life Bark Infusion, but after 5 turns, you'll have to pay the piper regardless of your hit points. Endurer sucks compared to Juggernaut, taking up a card space and worse, an action point to use.
Enemies.
For the Constitution build, Grumpy Bear is my Furry Fury build. An entire build focused on making the most out of an enraged bear form. How do we do that? The Constitution traits Resilient and Thick-Skinned are geared around putting the brakes on damage. I tried Battle Hardened at Tier 3, but it ended up being very difficult to control. Instead, Juggernaut gives her bear form a way to heal itself, so hit points aren't only going down.
Here they come.
We'll also take Insightful Timing to help slow hit point loss. She uses the Druidic Staff to give herself bark skin while in bear form, but only when she's not actively trying to lose hit points. Then she switches to Flame Form Staff to burn all those baddies trying to do her harm.
That one landed.
Of course, we're taking Furry Fury.
Claw hug.
To give her more maneuverability while enraged, we'll take Primal Leap.
That tickled my ear.
Primordial Strikes are going to give our attacks a damage boost. Gruda has a strict time limit in bear form, and she might just die before getting any benefit from Enraged. Fortified Action can make sure that she has some emergency armor to fall back on, and Prepared Spirit gives her another card to defend herself with while she waits for the cooldown.
Storm, weather, you like it or
I find this one more frustrating than fun. Using Furry Fury on another build that you enjoy playing is a less stressful option. Strength loses some of its punch, but it can still make a killer bear build. At Tier 1, Martial Might pays out double because of the multi-attack, and I prefer this since I intend to stay mainly in bear form. Potent Brew is fine. Take it if you don't mind starting out weaker and want to go into the boss battle with some huge bonuses. It's also more useful if you're planning to use spells that cause physical damage. Carry capacity is a waste, as all the best strength traits are right here at Tier 1.
Get a change.
At Tier 2, Warborn Surge is the clear winner, as its chance to apply Battle Cry doubles to 20% with multi-attack. Knockback doesn't work in bear form, so this one ends up being pretty useless. Throw is available in bear form, but it has pitiful damage compared to what you could be doing. You can't even drop barrels in bear form to throw, so even its novelty use is limited. And finally, at Tier 3, Crushing Blow.
Dance off, bro!
Crushing Blow is another one that isn't bear compatible, so that leaves you with traits that grant replenishing cards. These can both be used in bear form, but they're also taking up space in orc form. Taunt lets you perform a single attack at your full attack damage, instead of splitting it between two attacks.
Why?
You're losing your double bonuses, and it has a cool-off period. Ground Pound is similar to Primal Leap, but with a little more damage and a knockback effect, and of course it doesn't include movement. Both cards can be used in combination, so you can leap into position and then pound. Funshine Bear is another one that wants to spend most of her time in bear form. She doubles her base damage with Martial Might and Warborn Surge. Storm's Wake and Primordial Strikes will work together to frequently electrocute and freeze enemies. I like Primal Leap for an extra bear card that doesn't take up room in the Orc's card hand. She'll pair that with Ground Pound and Prepared Spirit to make up for adding a replenishing card. It doesn't really matter though, very little time will be spent in Orc form. I'm using Furry Fury here just because when it does activate it can be fun, and this build isn't so stressed out about forcing that to happen.
It is the foe.
But it's nice when it does. And when it does, unlike Grumpy Bear, you're getting those juicy strength bonuses too. Life Bar Confusion is a better choice if you value reliability over randomness. Honed Instinct doubles its chances for an extra attack to 20%, and Fortified Action will help a little with defense and be a reminder for you to get those one more things in the shop for those extra attacks.
Got you good.
Their move.
bark up, buttercup? to go wild. No hugs for you. A storm, weather, you like it or not.
The intelligence druid varies greatly depending on whether you want to focus on the spell-casting orc or the ass-kicking bear. I prefer elemental resistance, reducing elemental damage by 1 point. That helps with the frequent accidental self-electrocutions. Magic Dart isn't as powerful as the sorcerer or bard's version, and you can't use it in bear form. And you need to spend a permanent card slot in orc form. Douse is even more of a waste, since she has access to Tidal Wave and Storm's Wake. Heading into Tier 2, Alchemist's Inferno is fine. It can only be used in orc form, but you can unload 0 action point attacks before transforming, and then build up more cards while in bear form. Ruinous Brew is good for a spellcasting druid, but usually only in the latter half of the dungeon, and does nothing for you in bear form. Deflect Magic is the only passive option. Good for wild shapes, but it rarely does anything at 8%. Tier 3 is looking even better. Use Magic Expert for a bear build, and under the right conditions you'll be seeing that plus 10 damage quite often.
Found you.
Use Expert Spellcaster for a spellcaster build. It's 4 times better than Magic Expert if you rely on spells exclusively.
Because only the druids can know magic secrets and wield its power.
Magic is not a weapon. It is a gift.
Good Luck Bear focuses on paw-to-paw combat. It takes all the traits to deal as many hits as possible so that Magic Expert will activate. It's a natural fit for the bear form, which is doubling the usual number of attacks anyways. And she'll take some potential extra hits from Honed Instinct. Using Primordial Strikes and Storm's Wake with multi-attack, that's going to give you 10 hits per turn easy, so Magic Expert is earning an average of 5 damage per round. And that's just starting off. She takes Prepared Spirit, and Graze of the Moon is going to make Font of Moonlight one of the Good Luck Bear's opening moves. The Regenerate status carries over after she transforms.
Fresh meat. Stupid little
Elemental Resistance is mostly for mitigating her own lightning damage, since Primordial Strikes and Storm's Wake is a dangerous combination. And remember, when you've electrocuted yourself, you can just stay still. You only take that damage once, and the electrified water tile is now protecting you from further environmental electric damage.
Enemies up.
Furry Fury will squeeze even more out of Magic Expert. As long as you're not relying on this trait and just accept it as a happy happenstance when you start your turn enraged, it's absolutely fine.
I got you.
The Tier 2 Intelligence trait can be anything. Deflect Magic is the only one that helps the bear, even if it is only rarely.
It is the foe's turn.
Thy meal tastes best.
Noble fight.
I won't forget what you've done for me here today.
I would prefer that you do.
If you're looking for a spellcaster version, the Intelligence build is completely different. I call this Wish Bear. Wild Shape is still used by this build, but mostly as a shield to weather damage from a bad situation and maybe survive one more monster move.
It is the foe's turn.
She takes Expert Spellcaster for a consistent and predictable damage bonus, along with Ruinous Brew. Magic Dart gives those bonuses a 0 action point outlet. Graze of the Moon is swapped for Blinding Light, and Stormcaller greatly increases the size of her storm cloud. Unflinching focus and insightful timing help to reduce damage.
Enemies up.
Prepared Spirit is even more important for creating space for the card she needs. Vicious Vine and Betterberry are both fine for the Druid Tier 1 trait. For weapons, she'll use Whipsicle for its extra attack range and impressive movement capabilities, or sometimes using Druidic Staff to get free bark skin.
I hope it sparkles.
The Dexterity Druid is very mobile. The bear form benefits from its many traits. At Tier 1, reposition isn't as good for large creatures as medium. You need an empty 2x2 area to land, so although it's far from useless, it's going to get blocked frequently. Dodge is nice, benefiting the Druid in all her forms. At Tier 2, you know I love Walk Speed for melee attackers, to extend their attack range. Leap is good for big moves when needed, but it's also not as versatile for a large creature, since they can't jump to a higher level.
Ripped right in.
At Tier 3, Disarm is available in both Orc and Bear form, but it costs you so much in card space and attack damage, I never use it.
Please hit.
Double Tap is where it's at. And this is likely why you want to use a Dexterity build in the first place. Like Honed Instinct, it turns that 10% chance into a 20% chance to activate while in Bear form. Together, you can get a theoretical maximum of 6 hits with 1 action point. More realistically, you'll see 3 and 4 hits more often, averaging 2.4 hits per multi-attack. Check out this quintuple hit with the Lightning Suffusion Chaser for 100 damage. Speedy Brew can get you where you're going in a hurry, but you're sacrificing the potential damage from Double Tap. Just take Walk Speed instead. Our Dexterity build is Love-A-Lot Bear, and by love, I mean claw. She takes the Honed Instinct and Double Tap combo I mentioned. That gives her a huge pipeline for damage bonuses, which she takes advantage of with Primordial Strike and Storm's Wake. That's 25 damage per turn, but that's only the start. She really explodes when she gets help from her friends. Battlecry, Bardic Inspiration, Bane, and Paralysis all compound, and you'll see her doing 40 or 50 damage with a single action point.
Laws work.
She takes Fortified Action and hopes for a one more thing to start her transformation off with a bang, and also to provide a little protection to her Orc form when she reverts. Then Prepared Spirit to give her more spell options.
Right.
She excels in Bear form, and that's where she wants to be as long as possible. She uses Primal Leap and Walk Speed for added movement, and Life Bark Infusion with Druidic Staff as needed to protect her and enhance her healing. Dodge helps protect her in both forms.
Took a chunk.
Charisma ends up being a bitter pill for the druid, which I find kind of ironic, since AD&D back in the 80s required a minimum of 15 charisma. Now it's an albatross, with most of the traits being simply unbearable. Magical Words is an obvious one. You'll need to stay in orc form to get that +1 damage bonus, though. Consider Intelligence instead. For the bear aficionado, Intimidating Stare provides a passive buff that protects the druid in
It is
any
the
form.
foe's turn.
Charismatic Might at Tier 2 only benefits the orc form, and I tend to find that I get enough room in my hand with Prepared Spirit. Unshakable Presence will be your choice if you like to use Wild Shape. Now at Tier 3, here's the hard part. Distracting Strikes and Inspiring Speech will only activate in orc form. And using the orc for melee attacks just seems like a waste.
Enemy's turn.
If you get Bardic Inspiration and then immediately transform, you're only getting that bonus for a short time. Heartening Brew is also a complete waste. With a half dozen healing options at her fingertips, and no need to rely on potions of healing. The Charisma build is Cheer Bear, and she's completely pointless. I'm not going to show it off, so that puts this ability at the bottom of my list. But can it kill a troll in one turn? You know the drill. Let's get into it. Grumpy Bear with Storm's Wake in bear form is doing 23 damage, but let's assume she's enraged, and that will bring us up to 42 physical and elemental damage. Vorkul says,
Fresh meat!
Funshine Bear has Battle Cry to buff her bear multi-attacks to 38 damage. But if she goes psycho, that goes up to 63 physical and elemental damage. Varkul's not getting up from that one. Good Luck Bear is similar to Grumpy Bear, but with the extra 5 damage on average. So 28 normally, but when she's angry, that rockets up to 49 physical and elemental damage. Level Up Bear is coming in with a flurry of lefts and a flurry of rights, but not extra damage. She's getting nearly 5 hits per turn, and that's only giving her 25 damage. That may be the worst, but with friends helping her out, she can really deliver the goods. And we'll end this with Wish Bear, our only orc build. Tidal Wave, Magic Dart, and Call Lightning are topping out at 41 lightning, physical, and force damage. But an Ice Knife can freeze the troll, and if the troll's already wet, she can get that damage up to a tidy 48. In truth, there's no way a druid isn't killing a troll. Practice killing 3 at a time in the troll hunting grounds. You can just retreat to map after killing them, and then play the same encounter again and again. May the flows of the land bring you change and harmony. This has been my why, and it might be a while before I see you again, but eventually, I'll see you in Helm's Hold.